What's going on, After Buzzers? Tonight at the Bosch After Show, we are wrapping up the season finale, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
For the last time we're gonna hear this song in a while. Tonight we're reviewing a 7, 8, and 9 or 7 and 8? 9 and 10. Oh my gosh, I can't even keep track anymore. It's the finale, and of course we have so many cases still open and obviously new ones that are gonna carry over into next season. But again, I'm your host, Olivia Gabaree. You can hit me up at The Real OG, and tonight we have a special guest, but I'll let Candice introduce her.
Okay, I'll introduce myself now. Hi, I'm Candice Cruz, and you can find me on social media at Candice R. Cruz. And our special guest, why don't we throw it over to you?
Hi, I'm Verona Blue, and I play Shaz on Bosch Season 3, and my handles on the internet are at Bathori, B-A-T-H-O-R-I.
We're going to have to explain that later on during the show,
we'll do it. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So we have a lot to cover.
Oh my God.
Been a crazy 2 episodes.
I mean, the whole season is jam-packed, but these last 2 episodes are absurdly crazy.
It's hard to like keep track of it all. I can't even keep all the cases straight because we have so many.
Yeah, there's like 4.5.
And
By the
then
end of the last episode, there's like 4.5 things happening.
For sure.
Yeah, and then there's 2 left open at the end.
Right, right.
So it's like, there's no room for, we know Bosch Season 4 is coming up.
Yeah, of course, because they left us with some cliffhangers. But usually, episode by episode, I'll break it down on a case-by-case basis. Just because it's easier that way, you know what I'm saying?
Is it? Maybe. Sometimes there's a little cross-pollination, you know, Holland, Gun, all those kind of intertwined. Meadows.
Yeah.
All of them.
And before we wrap up the season, we have a little bit of a surprise for you guys at the end, so stay tuned for that. But I'm going to kick things off with Meadows because we opened up the episode with Edgar being picked up by the SWAT team because it was clear that he was hit by a sniper.
So sad. Like, literally, I screamed at my computer at the end of episode 8, like, what?
Yeah, it was a serious cliffhanger.
Yeah. Did you guys think he would survive, though? I mean, well, I guess you already knew that what happened.
You already knew.
I mean,
but
yeah. No, but that was a serious cliffhanger. Like, they just cut right to, he hits the ground, and there's a second shot through the scope at his head, and then goes black.
Oh,
that was mean. And you know, he just had that conversation with his wife about like not leaving the kids. And,
and then
just
we
shot
had the whole
someone
pin, the science fair pin thing. So it was all ironic how it happened. Of course,
it was so beautiful, but so like heart wrenching at the same time.
Yeah.
Like I appreciate all of it. It was very dramatic, but I mean, I don't know whether I thought he was going to survive. I was hopeful at the end of it. Let's just leave it at that.
I didn't think we could kill off that big of a character yet. But he obviously survives, and Dobbs gets first wind of all of this through the radio. He actually hears that it happened, but he had no knowledge that Moreno was going to do this. I mean, he kind of figured because he had to get him back somehow, but...
I mean, he gave him a warning at the end of episode 8 to, like, chill out, just go with your girl. Like, take your money, run.
And get out and go to Baja.
Yeah,
get
exactly.
Out of there,
I mean, he gave him the fair warning, and he even told him that. He was like...
And this is where it kind of... I could tell things were getting shady between Dobbs and Moreno. Because that's a pretty big secret to keep from not only, like, your partner, but someone who's supposedly in charge of you, like your higher up.
Yeah.
That would be something you would share with them.
I thought Javi was going to shoot Dobbs at the end of episode 8. That was my prediction last week, and then it didn't happen. So now, that was what I felt. The tension was there. So it was close.
Yeah, close.
I mean, the concept was right.
The concept was right.
Just you got your people mixed up a little bit, you know. So Dobbs is keeping tabs on Moreno. He has a tracker on his phone, and you would think that a guy like Moreno would kind of figure that.
I think he did.
But he just lied anyway?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, because, you know, he says he's going to leave, and then he just goes to Venice. Like, what?
He's just chilling at
you can see what was the plan there?
I don't know. I mean, he put the phone in the cup at the end, so he knew that he was being tracked.
Right.
But I don't know what he was thinking there.
Yeah, so he was blatantly lying to Dobbs, but Dobbs reels him in with the money thing, saying he's going to...
give him a cut.
Yeah, so, of course... of course he's gonna go after it because greed is greed. I mean,
That was the whole thing, right?
Yeah, like stacks of money in your boat isn't enough for you. You have to chase that last dime.
Yeah.
Well, the last dime cost him a little more.
Thanks.
But he got the no honor among thieves. He like got the final like dig in there anyway, you know?
But
Still though.
so his girlfriend gets taken into custody and obviously doesn't care. He just like leaves her hanging dry because he goes after the money and doesn't
he wasn't
even
even
tell
down
her
there
what's
with
up.
her.
I know he sends her by herself, and he said he would walk to meet her or whatever.
Yeah. But like I don't think he ever figured out that she got
Picked
taken
up?
in.
I mean,
yeah.
obviously.
I mean, either he was. Never mind. I'm not gonna spoil that yet. I almost spoiled it.
He never knew that she got picked up. He couldn't live to see the day.
There we go.
because
She says it. There we go.
So he goes to get, his money with Dobbs, and it's like both of them are being so shady. You can feel the tension just watching
The moment
it.
he walks on the boat, you're like, oh god, this is uncomfortable.
This is not going to end well for somebody.
And so he hides the knife, and I was thinking like just to keep a weapon on hand in case.
Oh no,
he needs it.
He was gonna do it.
Yeah,
was
but
gonna do
now
it.
I mean we'll get to it later on, but it kind of seems like he planted it for a bigger reason.
That's what I like. That is what I'm curious about. Like, I feel like maybe he put it there in case he needed to use it, but he knew that if something bad went down,
Yeah.
Yeah, it
like,
was probably a
it's-
double-edged sword.
Right, exactly.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
even if he didn't get killed in the end, just having that on Dobbs's property,
Yeah.
if the cops ever did come, it could be traced back to him because
Takes
it's
him
on
down.
his thing,
Yeah.
So obviously we see that Dobbs really just has no sympathy and shoots Miranda right in the head.
Twice,
Just
right in the
twice.
face.
We were watching that before we came in here,
Yeah.
and it's like you shot him in the head.
Like,
Why
right
did you
in the
need
face.
right in the face, like right here? Why did you need the extra shot?
No, because that's like a statement.
It's like
you
for
cross
effect.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah.
So Moreno's dead and Dobbs is still on the run. He's trying to get Woody's money that he hid because obviously there's still a large chunk of money because they split it between the three of them.
Yeah.
And no one knows where Woody's is. But
And of course, he put the tracker in that too. Like he's smart. Dobbs is smart.
Yeah.
He had
Well,
a tracker
he's-
in the money too,
they're-
didn't he?
I think so.
Yeah.
they're special forces
Special
rather.
forces, yeah.
So this is their life. This is their game. This is what they work for. So he takes his boat off to Santa Cruz Island where he tracked Woody's money at. But now Bosch is pretty smart too because he knows that Woody's infamous for these like surf trips
Yeah.
and he
He finds the brochures in the car, right? With the map
He
and
does,
everything.
yeah.
and there was a
Episode
couple
8
different
and,
ones, but
9.
he picked out the one and he went to Santa Cruz Island and he saw Dobbs's boat right there.
Yeah. But he was smart enough to ask the guy that took him out there too, like everything about boats and what he needs to check on. Because I mean, you gotta
Right.
do your due diligence. But I mean, we forget that Bosch was special forces too.
Yeah.
Like way
He was a
back
Marine,
when.
yeah.
He was. Yeah.
But I was nervous. Well, I guess I was nervous for Bosch, but at the same time, it's always comforting to know that like you have eyes on someone that doesn't know you're there, so you kind of have one up
upper
on
hand.
them. And he trapped Dobbs, but did you guys? He just hung the light so it would draw Dobbs to him.
Well, it looked like the way he put it in the.
It was like a lantern or something.
Yeah, because it was
Like a pirate?
looking like he was looking for something. It looked like a person was
Yeah.
down there. It was too dark,
Right.
to see if there was a human there. So it
Right.
just looked like a light.
And then he goes toward the light, obviously as planned. Gets
Go
caught in the
towards the
line,
light.
and down he goes.
Yeah.
But
fishing
That was a
line
little.
up.
That was a little far fetched.
yeah, no, there's.
That whole setup was like a
Well,
little.
he just ran right
far-fetched.
into it, like
Yeah.
perfect,
Yeah.
executed perfectly.
Like, yeah, no, I get that. I don't think that would ever actually happen. It's never going to work out the way that you planned.
Right, right.
He's going to walk through here exactly.
I'm
going
gonna go to this island and then set up this really elaborate like go-go gadget
find
trap.
his boat and know
Go-go
exactly where
gadget
he's
trap,
at.
yes.
But obviously, Bosch pulled it off.
I mean, it always works out for Harry, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
always.
Here's a winner.
But I mean, so Meadows is kind of wrapped up in a way, but I still have questions. Like,
still don't know why Meadows got killed.
Right, we don't know why they.
Right.
I mean, we've made assumptions, just thinking that maybe because he was unwell and he had all this information on them, it's kind of just you kill off the weakest link. But nothing has really been confirmed yet.
No, which bothers me because I'm like, everything else and all the other seasons have somewhat tied in a nice, neat little bow until they decide to open it up again. So now I'm like, well, why the hell did he get killed in the first place?
Right, but I think this is definitely going to carry over into the next
I'm sure.
season because they can't really nail Dobbs down to all of these accusations. I mean, they found the knife on his boat, but unless they find Sharky's blood in the knife, they can't really tie it to him.
They did, though.
They do.
Oh,
they
they
take it
do.
apart, and there's blood inside, like the pivot, like where the
screws,
screw
But
is.
they need it to confirm that it's Sharky's blood, or
No,
they
no,
already
they
knew
know
it
that it's
was?
Sharky's blood, and so
Wow.
that's how they get Dobbs, and like that's the sort of like final stab that Zavi gets at him because
And
when
then-
he puts it on the boat for whatever reason, we've decided that he's
Yeah.
put it on the boat, and then now Dobbs is trapped.
So it
now
is
he's-
pretty much wrapped.
Well, it's trapped for Dobbs.
Yeah.
For Dobbs, but
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, Javi, or however we say his name, I always say his name wrong.
They call him like Chavi, I feel.
Chavi,
I don't know.
all the different names.
Moreno.
Yeah, call him
Moreno, like his murders, I wonder if that's actually ever going to get solved because they can't find the body.
Well,
So
and
the only
nobody
thing
really
they can-
cares about him.
Well, he's right. He's attached to an anchor at the bottom of
Yeah.
the ocean, right?
Yeah, he's
and then like
gone.
and Bosch talks about that. He's like, "Where's your anchor?"
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he was like, "Oh."
It's kind of funny how he puts that together.
Yeah.
I didn't really think of that until because I knew the anchor was missing, and I was like, like.
Well,
what could it
bodies
possibly
float.
be used
So, like,
for?
otherwise, if you can't find a body in the direct vicinity, he had to have gotten rid of it somehow.
If you've seen The Sopranos, you know what happens to the body in the ocean.
Oh, wait.
What happens to the body in the ocean?
Oh yeah, they wrap either like add cement, shoes,
they
or like an anchor, and like
bricks
you have
on
to
the
weigh
bottom
them
of their
down.
feet. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I
Nice
see.
one. Yeah.
I'm
It's like
familiar with the
very
mob
mafia. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a little check in the Meadows, except we still don't even know. I keep calling it the Meadows case, but it really doesn't even have anything to do
No,
with
Meadows
at
just
this
did like a
point.
spark,
No.
and then
He's
the rest of it
gone.
all unfolded.
Yeah.
So moving on to the next case, which is the gun/Holland case, and this was the one that you were more involved
Yeah.
in, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I see everybody. I'm the only one who sees them both together.
Yeah.
You know.
You're the one
Crazy.
that's feeding the information.
Yeah.
You're
Didn't you
working-
open up the season almost?
Yeah. Episode. So the very beginning of the first episode, I'm giving
shot,
gun
yeah.
drinks, and Jesse Tefero's there, like buying them, in shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I know. I'm sorry, you guys.
But
It
obviously
was your fault. You gave him the
he
drinks.
was a serial killer anyway. It's fine. You're just
Fine.
a limit. Like you're saving the rest of us.
I'm on Harry's
Yeah.
side with this.
Okay. As long as you're on the right side,
Yeah.
we're okay.
Okay. Thanks.
So we kind of know Rudy's role in all of this, and I mean us and everybody else know what Rudy's up to, and he's waiting in the room where they question
The
people at the
interrogation room.
station, yeah, for Bosch. But obviously Bosch is on some special mission, so it's like pause.
He's there forever.
I mean, J. Edgar got shot. Like, I feel like that's a good reason to pause an
Yeah. There's a lot
interrogation.
happening.
Just
And
saying.
Rudy Tefero, was a cop, so
Yeah.
like he knows
Yeah.
how this goes.
He understands.
Exactly.
He knows the whole routine and the waiting and
Yeah.
like how to play the game.
And he also knows that he's on thin ice. He
Yeah.
realizes that his brother's on thin ice, so he's like, I'll play the game.
Right.
I'll just
For
sit
sure.
there.
Yeah.
But
He's
you know
smart.
what kind of surprised me was, once we get all into it and they do reveal that they have the tape, they knew it was Jesse. They saw him.
Yeah.
Rudy kind of took the heat for it, and
Yeah.
I did not expect that at all.
Yeah.
I
He's
mean,
not
it's his
really
baby
a stand-up
brother.
guy.
No, but I feel
Yeah.
like blood's thicker than water, though. Of course, he's going to stand up for his little brother.
I guess.
And figures he knows more. I think he knows more about the law and like the way things can go. He could find a lawyer and get out
Right.
of it.
Right.
Versus Jesse would have no clue and be screwed and be in
Yeah.
there for life or have a death sentence. You
Yeah.
know? So he's going to take the rap because he feels like he
Right.
can get out.
And I mean, it goes deeper than just this gun murder, though, because come to find out, we already knew this wasn't Holland's first.
No, the
at least
original murder
attempt
of the-
at
of the
murder.
girl.
Right.
Yes, and come to find out, Rudy actually is like hired to murder these people for Holland. And what is the sickest part about this is Holland's like calling it improv. So Rudy got
So
rid of
creepy.
the body of Donatella, a woman that Holland had killed, and Holland literally was like, oh, that one
was
wasn't
improv.
planned. That was kind of like an improv.
Because he thinks he's just such hot shit. Like he just thinks. I mean, he even says early in the season, like he's like, I own this town, or like I'm king of the town, or whatever. And he just is horrible,
slimy, creepy. Just the fact that he had. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but the fact that he had a storyboard all written out to pin Bosch to this murder, like even the owl.
He like plants.
Kind of pisses me off a little bit. I feel like that's like.
It extra.
Yeah.
It's extra.
It's like
Imagine
super extra.
if something like that
like
really
who
existed.
would be like, you know what, I'm definitely going to do? Write it all out with pictures.
And so, like, if you don't want to be tagged to
Like,
the
and
murder,
this whole thing is to, like, because they're trying to discredit Bosch so he can't testify for, like, the first murder.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would you just, like, make a big sign? Right.
Yeah.
Would you not be like,
No.
But no, he was like, definitely going to draw it out.
I'm gonna keep it just
With, like, arrows, with, like, me.
Yeah, and then keeps it in his house.
Yeah.
You know? And he's already on house arrest. He's like, you'd think because he is a suspect in all this, he would try to get rid of the
lock
evidence.
it up or something.
Yeah.
I guess he's just so high on himself that he just feels like he's perfect and untouchable.
Untouchable,
and it's a perfect plan that'll come together. And he's like, I'm going to frame this cop who's, like, already kind of been in trouble and just layer it on top.
And then he even mentions, he's like, I'm going to get off without jail time, and I'm going to get completely off. Because at that point, once you're acquitted for it, then you can't go back on trial for the same case. So that's why he kept those storyboards. He was like, once I'm clean.
Right. He's like,
free and clear,
yeah.
I'm good. I can make this movie. And
That just blows my mind.
That's
But
just bonkers.
That's what
Yeah.
happens, though. I even took note of it. It's like, you know, people who tend to get cocky usually end up the losers in the end.
course.
And here he is, his little naked ass in his jacuzzi, can't wait for his movie, and there you go. Like, you got caught. I mean, Rudy turns on him real quick, obviously, because he knows his ass is on the line, and it's going to be his fault. So he essentially gets Holland to admit to all this. And he was smart because, I mean, smart in a way. He was thinking ahead. He's
petting the ego.
He knew that he was going to need, in case stuff went down, he was going to need something.
Insurance.
Yeah. And so he stole the storyboard, which I don't think that Holland should have shared the storyboard with anybody to begin with, but obviously he's an idiot.
We knew that from the get-go, though.
Right, so
And-
he goes in, he like has him on speaker, right?
Yeah.
And then he goes in with the wire, and like his girlfriend is the assistant or whatever.
Yeah.
That he's
Yeah.
sleeping with the assistant. So like they're all like so
Close.
It's like incestual almost.
yeah, like this like incest for like murder and
Yeah.
everything. It's very heavy.
Because Marissa wasn't too, like, keen on helping Rudy at that point. Once he's in jail, she's like, I'm tired of you. I'm
Yeah,
done.
yeah,
You were going to keep me safe. That's why I was with you. Now you can't keep me safe.
yeah.
Don't care.
And
Don't care.
it was cool that Robertson and Bosch finally made amends, and Robertson let Bosch take the case pretty much, except for the fact that Robertson on paper took credit to it all when he told the journalist.
But Robertson's letting him get away with it, but he still has that extra that he knows that he gives off to Jerry Edgar, too, though.
Right, because he gives the interview with Rudy.
There is no record of a Cadillac.
The Cadillac. Yeah, and he figures out that the tape that Harry had and that he was there.
Right.
So Robertson's got something else up on his sleeve, though, because he's meeting with, what is the guy's name? I can't remember.
It's the LA Times guy, yeah.
No, but he met up with another guy. He met up with, like, his mentor. Like that.
Oh,
that
right.
other
The
cop.
one that told him to leak it to the press to begin with.
And so now he's, like, trying to lead him on because he wants to
he
be
wants to get the higher
right.
position, so he obviously needs to shine to do so. But I'm wondering how this is gonna play later on, because now Edgar and Bosch's relationship is kind of tarnished because Edgar knew that Bosch was lying,
And he let the murder happen.
yeah, and he was really literally watching it happen.
He let it happen because he didn't. I mean, everybody on the show is ruthless.
I
like,
know.
Like, except for Jerry Edgar, though, if you really think, well, no, never mind. I'll take that back because he was going after Bosch the whole time.
yeah, like it's like Maddie's like the only one who's like,
So
okay,
innocent.
you know what I mean?
Oh, and her mom.
I know.
Forgot about
Even
her,
though
too.
I'm like mad because I feel like Bosch is doing so much for her, and now she's starting. She's
He
starting
still
to
loves
shade.
her.
I know.
You know the thing about him is like they never give him a break.
No,
you know, like as a character ever, he's like
No.
constantly tortured. Every time it looks like there's going to be something, you know, he gets some resolution with his mother murder, and then they just like
not
crack it open again, you know? Like, they just don't let him have a breath.
Exactly.
It makes it really compelling, but I feel bad for him.
It's a little bit exhausting to watch.
Yeah.
Because I feel like as a character, he's come such a long way in the 3 seasons, especially now that he's more family oriented with his daughter. And it almost makes things more difficult because now that he has his daughter in his house and there's so many people trying to sabotage his life,
Right?
It's like, how do you keep a balance?
Well, I love the line that Maddie said to the mom at the end. She was like, "You got your husband. I'm gonna stay with Bosch." And I was just like,
yeah.
It was sweet.
It's
it was
cute.
very sweet.
And I really like that sort of subplot that, like, she wants to be a cop as well.
She was, though. She was. Oh no, never mind. I'm thinking Maddie. I'm talking about the mom. Never mind.
Yeah, I'm talking about Maddie. Like, that
Sorry.
Maddie, like, wants to be a cop, and like,
Yeah.
she sees how tortured he is,
And she
like,
still wants
and she
to
still
be.
wants it, and like, that she's like what keeps him grounded and like human despite all of this. It's such like a sweet relationship.
I know.
I
She
like it.
she
I
is
love her.
super cute.
Yeah.
But I don't know, her mom though. To be continued
Yeah,
with that one. Not
She's
so
not a
sweet
real
over
poker
there.
player.
But as you touched on, obviously Salt and Harry's wounds, whenever something gets resolved, it's not exactly resolved.
Never.
So he
Never
kind
easy.
of gained a little bit, not necessarily comfort, but he saw an ending to his mom's case, his mom's murder. To his understanding, his mom's murderer was already dead and there was nothing he could do about it.
Yeah.
No,
Obviously not.
Not the case.
Think again,
No.
because
It would be Bosch.
so we have. Let me flip my page over here. So we have Caffrey. The home that he was living in caught on fire, and it turned out that it was an arson case, meaning that someone purposely set it on fire. And his room was looted. They just took everything out of it. It's obvious that they were looking for something.
Yeah.
And
Internally.
when they questioned Bosch about it, because obviously Bosch had been signing in and visiting him over time, trying to get information.
And then all of a sudden just stop visiting.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I felt bad for Bosch in that moment because I thought they were gonna try to pin it on him because
Of course.
the way he was talking, he sounded a little bit guilty. He was like, well, I stopped going. I kept on visiting him because I know that he had information. He was lying to me and blah, blah, blah. And
It's
just
a great impression.
It was good.
I sounded just like him, right?
You did.
But the way he was explaining it, I just felt like he was digging himself in a deeper
Yeah,
hole
totally.
the more he
that
was
girl
talking.
sitting there, she kept doing this number. She was smiling at him and smirking. She's like, "I got you."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah. So,
But Caffrey left Bosch a yearbook, which then I thought Caffrey was an asshole. I mean, which he was pretty much, but you could tell that he kind of
I feel like he had to be an asshole to get Bosch off his back, though.
Right.
Because he, I mean,
But
clearly
it seems that
came
he
to
was a little
end.
sympathetic to the situation for keeping the yearbook and kind of leading this trail to what actually happened.
Right.
So this yearbook led us to, okay, so we have this alias Fox Mitchell. And Fox Mitchell was the name that was continuously signed in at the motel
Yes.
where the prostitutes would always go.
Right.
AKA
And where Bosch's mother.
And originally we linked it to Epperson, who was a criminal informant.
for
And-
drugs for the
yeah.
police department. Yeah.
But they kept him, supposedly we thought they kept him safe because he was an informant and they didn't want to get rid of him. But it's actually not the case. So
It's getting deeper now.
enter Walker. This is so exhausting to even break down right now.
It's like I need to take a breath.
Yes. So now Epperson's dead.
Right.
We thought he was the killer. He's not the killer. Enter
Yes.
Walker. So Walker,
It's the commissioner.
he
commissioner.
originally was the police commissioner's son.
Yeah.
So
When all this was going down.
he had access to information like aliases and criminal
But
informants.
he was friends with Epperson. They went to high school
yeah,
together.
he was friends. So he had to know what his friend was involved in. So he took that as an opportunity to use his friend's already criminal background
Yep.
Yep.
to pull off his own shady business. And I guess, like, what's his deal? Does he just have, like, an obsession? Does he like to, like, why did he even do this?
Who are we talking about, Walker or Epperson?
Walker.
Here?
I mean,
was
he
like,
orders
dude,
orders
there's so much
escorts,
wrong. Of course.
prostitutes, whatever you want to call it. But then I mean, was it necessary to kill her? Like, why did he have to do that?
I mean, I guess that's what we'll find out.
Yeah,
in the
I mean, now we've just cracked open this whole mother thing again.
The fact that he did it.
Well, because he had been taking prostitutes for a while, so is he linked to a bunch of other prostitutes that were killed back in that time frame, or was it just a fluke that his mother died and then had to get rid of the body?
Yeah.
Like, what was it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting because, I mean, this man is obviously a murderer, and jump to present day, he is the present police commissioner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it kind of puts everybody in a pickle because it's obvious that he did it, and he was paying Caffrey to keep quiet. Mm-hmm. And on record, there was a private briefing between Caffrey and Walker. So obviously,
the original Walker, the father Walker.
Yeah. So obviously, the original Walker had knowledge of this, and because this briefing's on record, I mean, we're kind of just assuming that this is what they were.
But then he has the
talking
2 books.
about.
Like, he has the murder book and like another book, and shows
Things were
where things were
removed.
removed and like wiped out and wiped clean. Yeah.
And I guess whoever the person is that set Caffrey's home on fire and looted it, whether it's Walker or someone Walker hired, had knowledge that he had these books, and it would essentially lead everything back to him.
Walker would be stupid to do another murder at this point, so I hope he hired someone. He would be really stupid. Like, that's just like beyond.
And it just makes things difficult now because Chief Irving officially accepted his position, and the person that's giving him this position is Walker
and the mayor.
Yeah, so it's like how can you even maneuver around this, because here you are getting this new position as chief, but you have knowledge that the person who's giving this to you is a murderer, and you're trying to put him in jail.
It's so interesting to watch all 3 of those characters relish at the end of just the uncomfortability of like, you know, oh God, here we go. Let's just like keep it covered.
Can we talk about what this Koreatown killer thing and how that just starts and then stops and like.
Yeah, but that's going to be the main plot for next season.
For sure. Definitely for sure.
Because that was the last scene that we saw was the Koreatown killer just strolling on by.
It was such a weird thing to like open and then be like, we're not going to deal with this anymore.
Yeah. Well, the whole like season, he's just riding across on a bike.
Yeah. It was such like a minuscule. I feel like they would just like throw it in there, like on top of all the other cases we have. It's like, and here's a robbery from the KTK, and here's a murder from the KTK planting flowers with other people in Koreatown.
If it wasn't for the KTK, Irving wouldn't have his new bow.
I guess.
Fair enough. And every time there was one shot, I swear I was on edge the entire time when they're having wine at his house and he goes out on the phone. I'm just waiting for KTK to come in and like kill her. Because you kept seeing this shot of her behind.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God, she's going to get killed.
No, they can't take somebody else away from Irving. He already lost his wife and his son. They're taking everybody from Bosch. But he officially took his ring off, so he's all in.
And she was at the moment that he got the stars too.
Yeah.
His ex-wife. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
This is awkward.
But now it's pretty clear. Next season, we are going to definitely see more of the KTK.
Have to.
We have to wrap up this whole Caffrey deal.
Yeah.
And
I imagine another 72 plot lines.
Yeah.
Probably.
If this season is any indication,
it's going to be way more.
It's going to be crazy. What else can they do to him? Like, I feel so bad for Harry.
But the writers are pretty clever, because every time you think you've had enough,
it just keeps coming.
But you know what's weird? They're really nice people.
Yeah.
Like in person, they're really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about, like, we haven't touched a lot about you and working with the whole Holland case and all that stuff, but you were only supposed to come on, like, what, once or twice?
So it's supposed to be on episodes just 1, 3, and 5.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that first week scene when you see actually serving the drinks, which sets up this murder, and then when I get questioned by Robertson, and then this, like, when he's back again and he shows me the pictures and I'm flirting with him. And that was supposed to be kind of the end of it. But then just that relationship, like when I'm flirting with him, everybody was like, what is that? I like that. Like the writers liked it. And I guess other people, it's good for me. Other people liked it.
Yeah.
And so they kind of talked about like, is there something more happening?
Oh.
Ooh.
So that season, that episode 9, like little thing where he's talking to the reporter, and the reporter's like, "Why here?" And he says, "This is where it all started." And the guy says, "What started?" And he says, "Thank you, darling." And like that's the implication that maybe we're having an affair.
So
It's
we're
like
gonna see more of you in the next
I mean, hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
No, you have to. The fact that they ended it like that with you in
know.
it, it's like
So good.
I know. It was really cool. I mean, as an actor, it was really cool to be like, "We want you in one more episode."
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
"What? Okay."
so flattering.
Yeah.
And this was like your first big TV thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So
Okay.
I've done like a couple little TV bits. I was on like
Yeah.
Shameless and Mom and Mary, but these like little kind of like one day little things. And this is like my first TV role where I have like a character name, and I get to like come back and sort of have like a actual
like arc line.
yeah, like an arc in the thing. It was awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
And
Yeah.
the fact that you kicked off such a big
I
case.
know.
Right.
I know.
You came on, I was like, she's such a badass.
Yeah, it
like,
was very
you
cool.
opened it, and I was just like, oh my god, she's awesome.
Yeah, it
so
was
we were
really
so
cool.
excited you were coming
and
on,
like,
too.
you know, working on that show, it's all shot on location, you know, and like that's what a lot of people like about it is that it really represents LA. So that bar, the smog cutter, it's just what it looks like.
Yeah.
You know, and like it was the owner was there and
Oh,
like
that's
we're trying
sick.
I'm like behind the bar trying to figure out where stuff is and like
Yeah.
it was all real things and yeah, it was really cool. And then
love
you know,
that.
all the production people are on set. And because I'm in that first episode, like, you know, all of the production, Michael Connelly is there. Like everybody is there because they're
Yeah.
so ready to go that first day. So it was really exciting to kind of
How
be
was
part
Michael
of it.
Connelly and everybody on the crew?
Like amazing,
Yeah.
like really nice. The director for that first episode, his name was Alex. Maybe Russian or something. It was a little terrifying at first. Just a little severe, intimidating. He softened up and it went great.
Right.
But like at first I was like, oh God, what have I got myself into? Yeah, it was a little scary. And you know, it's like whenever you get a role that you're really excited about and you want to do it justice, especially if like somebody fights for you or like it's something that you worked really hard on, getting there as an actor, I'm always like, this is terrifying. You know, you
Yeah.
get imposter syndrome immediately, even though they hired you.
Right.
It just like hits
like,
you in
I
the
have to
chest a
prove
little
myself.
bit. Like
I shouldn't be here. Why am I
Don't
here?
fuck it up. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Don't fuck it up. And then the director's like, so how do you see this character? And I was like, okay, well, he's like, I don't care. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh, you care? Oh, you don't care?
Oh God, okay. And so I kept doing it. And he'd come over and like give me little notes, and I was making me a little bit nervous. And then he was like, "Just do however you want." And I think the "however I want" is the take
the
that they
key.
use because I eventually was just like, take the pressure off. Just do it the way that it's been like running and how I built the character, as you know, minuscule she is in my head, and it was great. Everybody's really nice. The writers were on set like every time, and I would talk to them about the character because they, you know, they build these
That's
characters.
probably helpful,
Right.
no?
Yeah.
It's really great. And then all of these secondary characters they name after people who work on the show. So Shaz is the name of like a writer on the show.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So like I met the real Shaz and I have like a photo with her and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Oh, that's
It was
awesome.
very cool.
Huh.
Very cool. What an amazing show, honestly, to work
Right?
on.
It's, I mean, all 3 seasons I'm just obsessed with. I'm excited now that I know that there is a 4.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It is pretty intimidating to just like to know how much lifting all the other actors do every single day, like all the primary cast, because all of those characters are so intense.
Yes.
And it is such like a dark
And there's
show.
so much depth to them, too.
Yeah, they're like all fully formed. It's not just Harry in the middle and then all these secondary people like supporting him. They are all full
Yeah.
people and they have like their own sort of tangents that
Storylines,
come
right.
out and their own personal relationships. And so it's almost like an ensemble with sort of Harry kind of floating in the middle, but like they work hard. Like that must be exhausting to just like constantly doing. Nobody gets a break. Like there's
Right.
no humor. There's no like Friends moment of like just hanging out, you
Yeah.
know?
And
So-
especially because it's like such a physical show, I imagine there's a lot of training and different takes that have to go into
I'm sure.
the final project.
Yeah.
But as promised, we wanted to share with you guys, we were lucky enough to have Titus in studio. He actually came, ironically, for another show.
Earlier today.
But he hooked us up with a little Q&A. So we're going to roll you guys a video and hope you enjoy it.
I'm so excited.
First question, what is the largest change in Harry Bosch's character from season 1 to now?
Well, in season 3, we see Harry, who's had this kind of flawless moral compass throughout the other seasons. And in the third season, he's pursuing a serial killer who the district attorney has declined filing charges on him because they don't have enough evidence to make the case stick. But the guy is a fall-down alcoholic, and Bosch, the guy occasionally washes up in the drunk tank, and so there's a flag on his file so that Bosch is to be notified anytime he comes in, because Bosch's hope is that he'll pull him out of the tank and take him in a room, and the guy will finally confess. But that's not happened to date, and so Harry has sort of taken things into his own hands, and he's put surveillance equipment in the guy's apartment and on the exterior of other buildings to observe his comings and goings, with the hope that he'll mess up and Harry will get him. It's completely illegal, and so he compromises that. Then this guy shows up dead, and the light of suspicion is shining upon Harry, and he's been set up for this. But what happens is that Harry observes, as he's changing a battery in one of the surveillance cameras outside of the building, he observes a car pull up, two guys get out, and they go, and they're clearly going in to do this guy in. And he turns away and leaves. And so he compromises his credo, which is everybody counts or nobody counts. And, you know, it's this secret that he holds within himself, which that, you know, of course, places him at odds with everyone, because he can't confide in anyone because he's compromised himself. And so in that way, we find him in a kind of internal conflict, and it's kind of it's gnawing at him. And at the same time, he also has his daughter now living with him, so he's kind of single parenting and doesn't really know what to do, and he's not always succeeding, and he's more and more inverted, and the more inverted he becomes, you know, his child, I think, you know, becomes, you know, concerned, because he's just not, he's physically present but not mentally present. And so there's a lot of stuff going on. It's not just him working the case, and his whole career and, you know, his life kind of hangs in the balance, because if he was caught, he would definitely lose his pension and would be fired and probably prosecuted and could ultimately end up in prison for doing this. So he's very different, I think. The one thing about Harry is that there's a consistency to him. He is who he is, and he's not going to really ultimately evolve to a greater degree. But his evolution, I think, comes more in the way that he navigates the world, rather than him suddenly stops listening to jazz and loves 80s hits. You know, it's sort of in that way that I think he's different.
What has been your favorite part about playing Harry, and are there any scenes or episodes that stand out as your favorite?
Well, Harry's, you know, he's a character. He's an anti-hero, and he's a guy who doesn't suffer fools, and he doesn't subscribe to the sort of societal norms of politeness. It's not that he's a guy who actively seeks to be a prick or to be rude to people, but he doesn't have a lot of time for ignorance and the bureaucracy of the department. He's a very kind of single-minded, myopic guy when he's working, and he doesn't have that sort of inherent desire to be liked. And there's something sort of interesting and kind of refreshing, because I think on some level, it's not that we have to come in and be the most charming person in the room, but we don't want to come into a room and have people be repelled by our presence. But Harry doesn't really care. And so in that way, that's a kind of deeply liberating affect of a character to play. And so I get this sort of perverse charge out of playing a guy who sort of navigates the world that way, particularly to people that he doesn't have time for. And that's something that I sort of, but he's also a guy who has great compassion and empathy. And if one was a victim of a crime, you would want you would want a Harry Bosch working the case, because he's relentless and he'll grind and grind and grind until he gets. I mean, by his own admission, he says closure is a myth. You know, all that he can do is obtain justice for the victims and their families, but the closure part, because here's a guy whose mother was killed when he was a little boy, and it sort of informed his decision and the man that he ultimately becomes, going from being a special forces operator to a cop. There's a great morality about this guy, and he's full of love as well, and he's not humorless. Favorite scenes, it's kind of hard to nail down. I mean, as a father, I will say that seeing my children, my son Quinn, who plays young Harry Bosch, and my daughter Cora, who came in and did a small role last season, to see my kids come in and be so comfortable and do well and be very professional, those have been the moments for me as Titus that have been the most rewarding. As far as it's kind of every day is a bit of a joyful grab bag, because I work with really, really good actors, some of whom I've worked with before, some I haven't but have wanted to, and that's just sort of a great gift in doing the show.
How did you shoot the scene when Harry caught Dobbs on the island?
That was shot in piecemeal. We went out to Catalina and shot the approach to the island and getting off of the boat and sort of heading up the hill. Jeffrey Pierce actually shot more on the island. He had to kind of haul the money around, and we had the background of the ocean. And then we shot the sort of stalking and ultimately the hand-to-hand fight scene we shot in Griffith Park at night. So it was cold and miserable, but a lot of fun to do.
And finally, how many tattoos does Bosch really have anyway?
Well, Bosch has my tattoos originally in the books, and that's why you see the scars on his knuckles. He had "Hold Fast" tattooed on his knuckles when he was, as a young kid and a runaway, was hanging out on the docks of San Pedro, and so he saw a lot of the fishermen and naval guys had this. When he went into the Army, his drill instructor made him, because it's sort of related to the Navy, his drill instructor made him punch a brick wall, a cinder block wall, until his knuckles were hamburger, and then when they healed, he made him go out and do it again. So that's why Harry has the scars on his knuckles, to remove the tattoos. And we actually revealed in this season in a flashback where Quinn, it's the first reveal where you see Harry at 15 and he has the "Hold Fast" tattooed, and that was kind of our rosebud moment for the season. I have a lot of tattoos. I mean, that's the irony of the whole thing, is that Bosch busted his hands up to remove these tattoos because he was all in with the Army, but now he has all these tattoos, and it's become part of the character. And thankfully, it wasn't a big fight, because having to have them airbrush my arms, because I typically, you know, I play most of the scenes with my sleeves rolled up, because it's sort of the metaphor for Harry going to work, is that his sleeves are always rolled up. Because that would be a colossal pain in the ass and be a couple extra hours. And now I come to work and it's 3 minutes in hair and 3 minutes in makeup, which is just the way I like it. I don't want to deal with that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh my God,
That was so awesome.
much. I'm
I
like
can't believe those
fangirling
are
over here.
really his tattoos. I really thought that they like put him on him for character.
I feel like that would take forever.
That would
to,
be
like,
such a
put-
nightmare.
Yeah, every single
but
one.
I'm
on.
assuming for like other roles that he does, they obviously, he said they usually cover it up. So it must be
Airbrush it.
kind of cool to just be able to go to work like whatever.
Yeah.
Even you too. You just played your part.
Yeah. I mean, it took piercings out. I took
Oh, did
piercings
they?
out.
Okay.
Yeah, I took my lip rings out and I took my septum piercing out. And actually, I did a Disney movie last year and they covered my finger tattoos
Oh,
with
really?
makeup. It was crazy. Like you
And
don't
you
even
really couldn't see it at all.
no. Like even when I was like, holy cow, that's amazing.
It's
yeah.
weird because you haven't seen your hands in that long with like out them on there.
Yeah, and I
right?
was like,
so it's
oh,
like,
that's-
oh.
That's what they looked like.
Yeah, it's like, that's kind of cool. Whatever.
I'm just so happy. That was an amazing like
Yeah,
wrap
that
up
was
for the
dope.
season.
That was
like,
dope of him to,
Thank
know,
you so much
roll
to
that in.
Titus
And
for doing that.
thank you
And
for
thank you for
coming in.
coming in.
having me, you
Love
guys.
having
Yeah.
guests.
This is super cool.
We have been so lucky. Both of our guests have been like such great like co-hosts. You guys have just like chimed in and
thanks.
like joined all of it. It's great.
You know I try. Catch me next week on my own show on AfterBuzz TV. Verona.
Oh.
I don't know. I got something. Verona talks about the Animaniacs. I don't know.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Stay tuned, people. All right, so that's a wrap for season 3.
Bosch.
And I cannot wait for season 4. And I
Yeah.
know that we're going to see you on season 4
hope.
rocking
I
it.
hope.
So
Fingers crossed.
we're praying
Everybody
to the
tweet.
Bosch
Everybody
gods.
tweet it to the Bosch gods. That I should be on season 4.
Okay, and well, I guess we'll
That's it.
we'll see you next season.
Yeah.
Again, I'm your host, Olivia Gabaree. Hit me up, the real OG.
And I'm Candice Cruz, and you can find me at Candice R. Cruz. And you would you like to say
Hi, I'm Verona Blue. You can find me on the internet at Bathory.
All right,
All right.
we'll see you next season. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.